Hello and welcome. David from David Lane Design here. You'll notice right away we have a little bit different view today. I'm going to be doing, I had a recent customer ask me, how do I trim and shorten a NATO strap? So I wanted to take the time today to show you that, just a quick at-home method. But before we get into it, I'll do a quick wrist check. Hopefully we get a nice view of this. This is a lovely Christmas gift I received. This is the Merci Hodinkee limited edition collab, released by Hodinkee just prior to the holidays. Just a gorgeous lighter gray dial, applied numerals, blue hands, not blued steel, I believe, but just blue hands, a nice polished bezel on it. And I am wearing it on one of our prototype gray suede NATO straps. Only a prototype for a very short time, just until we can get them photographed and put on the website. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm just hoping that it shows up on a video. So the customer emailed me and said, how do I shorten my strap? It's just a touch too long. I don't want to mail it back to you. I just want to be able to do it myself. And absolutely, this is definitely something that comes up. So I'm gonna just point out a couple of things right away. First and foremost, just use a standard utility knife, but use a brand new blade. Don't try to use an old blade or something if you're not sure. If you're not sure, they're cheap enough. Just put a brand new blade in it. A sharp tool is a safe tool, and you won't run the risk of damaging your strap or stretching the suede or just mutilating it in general. So a brand new blade and just a utility knife. And then you'll notice I have one of my self-healing cutting boards here, but a standard issue kitchen cutting board. I would stay away from wood, but you could totally do that as well. Just a standard cutting board. The plastic neoprene type cutting board is fine. If you happen to have something, kind of curvy and you want to try that, that's not what I'm going to show in this video, just because I think it's a little too complex. It does involve a little bit of skill, and it's just easy to make a mistake. I have messed up hundreds of pieces of leather trying to cut with this. It really is something that takes some time to get used to. So I'm just going to show a very basic, maybe one or two different options for shortening your strap. First and foremost, always shorten a little bit at a time. If you go right to the point where you know you're going to need it, you'll have no practice runs. So when you get your strap, it'll come with an English point. Feel free to ignore the clanging and banging of the heat turning on here in our building. The first thing I would do is I would just clean up the end with a nice straight cut. And I'm doing that. I like to use a clear plastic ruler, but any ruler that you can kind of butt up against the end here or line up on the end, and just give yourself a nice straight cut. I'm gonna move this right up towards the end, and I'm just gonna cut with a brand new blade. Firm pressure on the ruler, light pressure on the knife. So I'm barely holding the knife, I'm firmly holding the ruler. I'll make a very light pass the first one. I'll make a firmer pass the second one. And my third pass, if I'm using a brand new blade, should go right through, third or fourth pass. And sometimes it'll go through on the second pass. So now I've got a nice square end, which looks ugly. But if I just take and pick an angle, and I like to line up my angle about halfway through the end of the width and a little bit longer on the other side. Once again, the heat in this 100-plus-year-old building is turning on. So you're hearing lots of snapping and popping. That's just the pipes expanding. So I'm gonna make this cut the same way. I'm pushing firm on the ruler, lightly holding my knife. I'll make one pass, two passes, and a third pass should get through it. I always like to also move my material away before I let go of the ruler in case I didn't cut all the way through. I'm gonna apologize now for the camera shake because I'm working on the table that my tripod is on, so we're gonna see a little bit of shake there. But I think that's a really nice end finish for a very simple two-cut method. I'm gonna show one more that a little bit more complex, but I'm gonna start again by lining up and squaring the end. So again, firm on the ruler, very light on the knife. 1, 2, 3 passes. So now I've got a nice squared end. Then I'm gonna do sort of a matching point. Now what I'm doing essentially is I'm using a 1/2 inch mark on my ruler from where it starts the cut at the end here and where it ends the cut out the end here. I'm not worried as long as I'm not in the center of this width. I'm not worried where it lines up, and I'll show you why in a moment. So I'll cut 1, 2, 3. Again, firm pressure on the ruler, light pressure holding your knife. If you've got a brand new blade, you shouldn't have any trouble cutting through that material. Then I'm gonna save that little piece and I'm gonna flip it to the back side here on the other end. And I'm only doing that for a reference point. So I'll just take this and kind of spin it around. And I'm just now gonna basically use that as a guide and bring my ruler up to that. And again, now I'm not as worried about the measurement. I can, and you can tell, it just happens to land here at the 1/2 inch mark on both ends, but it works because I use that as a little guide. So I'll put, again, firm pressure on the ruler, light pressure on the knife, 1, 2, 3, and now I have a little bit more complex end. So that's just if you need to shorten your strap, you could always just cut it at an angle too. If you're wearing it the way I wear it, you're tucking the point end in anyway, so you wouldn't even see that. So, don't sweat it. If you make a mistake, it's all good. Just have some fun with it. Thank you so much for watching. And please let us know if you have any questions. Reach out to us, follow us, subscribe. We're up on YouTube as well. Thank you so much.